Cats podcast, episode 2. Hooray, we made it. I can hardly believe it. As nervous as I was, when it was over, I was good. I'm like, I did it. It's great. And then I read the comments that you guys sent in, and I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much. They were amazing and gracious and encouraging, and they kept coming. So I would eat my lunch in my office and try and reply to them. And I think I got to all of them. Unless they're new, I did get to yours. So thank you. I enjoyed so much the stories and you sharing. Yes, I mean, yay. You want me to keep going. There were people that were multiple makers like me, knitting, sewing, crocheting, spinning, embroidering, tatting. You guys shared everything that you did, and it's great. Hooray for us. You liked the outdoors. You want to see more camping. There were a lot of empty nesters. Thanks for sharing those stories with me. I'm sure I'm going to be really sad one day, so I don't mean to be flippant about my kids not being here. But like I said before, it was a lot, and I'm enjoying the peace, but I'm also enjoying them home. I just have to breathe a lot more because I'm not used to the mess, and I'm not really good with chaos. I work obviously in retail, and I have team members and clients, all who are totally fantastic and out of this world, and I love conversing and playing with them and working with them. They're just great. But when I'm home, I am so tired, and I don't like to don't want to talk to anyone, except for my podcasters. So I watch those podcasters, and that's my connection to the knitting world. So yay, there are some of you out there. Thanks for so many animal rescuers, cats, dogs, everything. Thank you for rescuing animals. They need us, and they're so grateful. I'm an advocate for rescuing. In fact, my son asked me the other day, he said, "Mom, would you get another cat?" I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, full disclosure, both my son and my husband are allergic to cats. So if that doesn't tell you the magnitude of my husband, he never says no. In fact, when we got the three that are bonded, we had just lost one. 2 months, we'd been out without her 2 months. We were excited to travel and I have to arrange cat care. And then I'm literally laying in bed one morning, we woke up on a Sunday, and I saw on Facebook, I follow all these rescuers on Facebook, which is not really a good thing unless you want to actually go rescue them, because it breaks your heart. But I figure if I'm sharing them and getting the word out, that perhaps they'll get a home. So I see this bonded pair, and maybe I'll put that picture up because I still have it. And it was three cats that didn't have a good situation. They had been in the shelter for 4 months, and they wouldn't separate them, which was great. 2 of them were litter mates, and the other one was older. But they had been bonded the whole time, and they weren't going to separate them, and I thought, great. I mean, how do you take 3 cats? And I'm like, oh my gosh, look at them. They've been there for 4 months, and they need a home. And they had been with an elderly couple, and he died, and she got put into care. And the kids took the cats and dumped them at a dog shelter. Well, the dog shelter said, we're a dog shelter, we don't take them, but they did take them and took them to a rescue in Denver. And they had them for 4 months and were nursing them back to health. They were very, very sick and very underweight, parasites, you name it, they were sick. So I told my husband, we should go look at them. Do you want to come with me? He said, I don't know why we're not taking the cat carriers, because you're not coming home without them. Thank you, yes. And we did that and made arrangements to go ahead of time and fill out the paperwork, and they're amazing. So thank you, animal rescuers. Yay, yay, yay. And the gardens, everyone liked the gardens. So yay, I'm outside. I will try to stay outside even in the winter. I'm outside as long as I can every season. It does get cold, so I'll have to move in eventually. So you're my people. You are my people. Thank you so much. I feel so connected. I would kind of get teary-eyed, like I said, in my office. I'd be like, my people were outside my office were like, what are you doing? I'm with my people. I'm with my people. So thank you. I'll go through some of the comments. I won't go through a ton, but I just had some to share that were funny. So today we're going to go talk about Attic 24 crocheting. I want to share my button trick with you. It's actually my sister's button trick. My favorite podcasters are the ones that I typically watch on a regular basis. The big reveal on the felted sweater for my Elmgrove, because I did do it. And thank you very much for all the comments that you guys gave me. I used them, believe it or not. I did. So I don't know. It's that little segment's going to be called Love It or Lose It, because I'll have to show you a picture before, and then you'll get to see the finished product. So then you will make a decision if you ever want to be so crazy as to try something like I did. And I am crazy. One lady said something about me being crazy, and that is my name. My sister's has 2 grandsons, and they're so cute, and one of them's 3, and calls me Crazy Auntie JJ. I'm like, hey, I'm going to own that one, because I love to be just who I am. I told the girl at work, Katie, I said, I'm always pranking and joking around, and I said, you know what, someday I'm going to actually act older than 12. And she said, oh, please don't do that. So thank you, Katie. She gave me permission. I'm never going to grow up. I just don't want to. I tell my kids all the time, you know what, everyone feels like this. I'm just not afraid to act it. So it's who I am. And I am a little embarrassing to them sometimes. But we have a good time, and life is short. Be full of joy. That's what I say. There's a song called Hey Younger Self. I think it's by Mercy Me. I'm not sure. It's either Jason Gray or Mercy Me. Brooke at work said she thinks it's Mercy Me. But it's a note to yourself. And if you could talk to your younger self, what would you tell your younger self? And I think that's a pretty powerful thought. What would you tell your younger self? I would tell my younger self to chill out and don't get so excited about things. Don't take things so personally. Let it go. Just let it go. Because I'm still high-strung, but I was really high-strung before. And I would just tell myself, just let it be. Just let it be. And now I ask myself the question is, will it be important in 5 years? Probably not. Will it be important in a year? Probably not. Will it be important in a month? A week? Most of the time I don't get it. It'll be important tomorrow. So that's when you know, let it go. So, Hey Younger Self. That's a great song if you want to look that up. And then I have a little quick tour of my vegetable garden that I took this morning, because I do need to harvest some things this afternoon for dinner. So I thought I better show you a little bit of it. And then you'll be able to see how it progresses, because it's really just come out. Remember I told you that there was a lot of rain? Now we have a lot of sun. So it still has been a fairly cool June. I don't remember it being like this for a long time. It's been so nice. Today it's 90. I'm outside, but the sun is behind a cloud, and I did look at my phone right before I got on, and it looks like there's a 30% chance of rain. So I hope the clouds stay while I'm podcasting. Otherwise I might get a little bit of a glare, but I'm just going to go forward because you guys told me to. So I'm going to do that. A couple little notes on the faux set I made. People had questions on that, on the alterations that I made, so I'm going to tell you about that too. Okay, now I am going to talk about Attic 24. So Attic 24 she's a designer. Her name's Lucy. She's in Yorkshire, England, and she designs crochet blankets and baskets and I think there's some other things. A bag, a weekender bag, and they're sold on Wool Warehouse. And I'll put that up if you're in the UK, which I do have listeners in the UK. You know about Wool Warehouse. So she sells them through Wool Warehouse, the kit, and I'm going to put some up as I'm talking. I don't know when I'm going to put them up, but I'm just going to put them up. I have a couple behind me, and I'm going to tell you about those, but I wanted to tell you that they come in kits, and I don't know about you, but I love kits. They're no-brainers. It has the pattern, it has the yarn, and that's with anything. That's with a sweater, or if you go into a yarn shop and they have a kit, it's great. and usually you buy it, or they have it next to the yarn, or they have the garment knit in front of the yarn that it was made of. It's not a mistake. They do that because then you will buy the pattern and the yarn, and that's great. People like me appreciate that because I tend to overthink things. I have a hard time making decisions. So when it's just given to me, I love that. So they come in these kits, and I am going to show you. They come like this. I don't know if you can see this. These big kits. And this is exactly how they arrive. And has all this wonderful yarn in it. So this is called the aerial blanket, and I have not made this yet. I have 3 kits that I haven't made, and I have 3 that I've made. So this is called the aerial. I'm going to put that up. I think you can see it. And I'll also put a picture of it on the screen as well. But I don't know if you can see this. Then it has all of these colors. So it has every color. This is actually the pattern. So once you get the stitch pattern together, it'll tell you in what order to do the name of the yarn and also the order in which you do it. It's brilliant. I love it. This is a granny stitch blanket, a granny square blanket that's put together in the most amazing colors. Now, I'm not a granny square lover. I don't know why they feel too old to me. I know they're really trending, but I did fall in love with this one because of the colors and the way that it moves. I really liked it. So I'm going to knit this or crochet this. It's probably my next one as soon as I finish my Shasta blanket because I think the colors are absolutely amazing. So I hope you're looking at that right now on the screen. Some of the colors you think, oh my gosh, she's putting that next to that color. That's never going to go. She's thought it through, and they are beautiful. This color is pomegranate. I've never seen this before. I also want to tell you a little bit about the yarn. It is an acrylic yarn from Stylecraft, and she works closely with Stylecraft. And you might think, ooh, I don't want to put all that work in an acrylic yarn. I can't tell you how nice these blankets turn out, and I can't tell you how nice this yarn is. A couple of us at work have made them, and Lisa, who works with me, she agrees. It's amazing. It's the most amazing plump, soft yarn. It never pills. You can wash it in the washing machine, and I think that's why I like it, is sometimes you use things and they become too dear. They're too precious and you don't want to use them. Use these blankets. I have this one actually outside on the patio, so I'm sure it has pollen in it and all kinds of things that have been around in the spring, but sometimes it gets chilly, and I'll give it a wash here in a couple weeks and then probably again before winter. But I just wash it in the gentle cycle, and I do use fabric softener, and then I tumble dry on low heat. I don't fully dry it, but it's not really wet. It's just moist or damp, I guess I should say. And then I just hang it over the railing and let it dry. And I picked this up, and it smells so good still. So that's what I want to tell you about it. The next thing I want to tell you about Wool Warehouse is don't be afraid to order from the UK. I don't know how they do it, but their shipping is unbelievable. I haven't ordered, like I said, in a year, but the last time I ordered, I think it was £6 to get it to the US, which is maybe $10, or at the most maybe $8 to $10. So it's reasonable. So I want to show you a couple that I have, and then you can go on the website and order yourself one because they are beautiful. So this is the hydrangea, and it was one of the first ones that I made. I don't know if you can see that. And it's really beautiful. This is a big one. And I kind of went off making big ones. I do like a big one because when my husband and I are watching TV in the wintertime, we do use one of these blankets. So it does cover both of us. This one is my favorite one. And this was the log cabin. Granny's log cabin. I'm going to have to put it up. I'm so sorry. And this actually you can make as a granny square, or this striped, granny striped, I think is what it's called. And if you know this pattern, if you're a crocheter, it's super easy, but it's my favorite because I think the colors are so happy. And I love the border. She has a border on each one of them. And I used to not ever put borders on my blankets, but I was a new crocheter as well. And I like her borders, and I usually do a custom border, meaning that I pick the colors that I want to match how I want it finished. So I love this lime green, so that had to go in there, and I love the teal and the red together. So those were my colors that I chose. The next one is the Moorland. Maybe this one's my favorite. And I'm going to put up pictures of the Moorland. It is stunning. So what she did, she lives in Yorkshire, and she had some pictures of the countryside, and she actually made a striped blanket to match the countryside. And I'm telling you what, this blanket is beautiful. And then the next one is my camper bracelet, camper blanket. I call it the 73 Shasta blanket because our camper is a 1973 Shasta. And so what I did is, again, I had the fabric for my curtains. I laid out the fabric, and then I picked the colors from Stylecraft. I just went on the website. They used to have a what are they called? Sample card, a color card, but they don't make that anymore. So I just some of the colors I had from other blankets, and I just laid them down and picked from the website, and they turned out almost spot on. They were really, really close. And I'm using the cupcake pattern. So I want to explain a little bit more about that. So when you go on her website, you'll notice when you look at the pack, some of them say printed pattern included. I strongly suggest you get the ones with the printed pattern included, because if it doesn't have the printed pattern included, like the Sweet Pea, which I bought for myself, my sister bought one, and we bought one for a young girl that was working for us from Guatemala, and she knew how to crochet, so we thought it would be a nice gift for her. Well, it didn't have the printed pattern. So you can go on her, I think it's called the Type Pad. Just Google Lucy Addict 24 and it'll pull it up. On the left-hand column, she'll have all of her blankets that she's made, as well as it's like her newsletter blog kind of thing. So you can go on, and all the instructions are there, but it's one of those that you have to cut and paste onto a Word document. Keep cutting and pasting, and I thought, I have to do this because I gave her the my sister and I gave her the kit, so I have to give her the pattern. So it was laborious, and I was not happy doing it. It's not fun, and I've had to do it with one other one because it gives you the whole color pageant, and it's not fun. So I strongly suggest in the corner it says printed pattern included, and get that. Do that, printed pattern included, and that's what you get. The next one that I have waiting for me is the Yuletide, and it's a big granny square, so I think it's different. There's not going to be a lot of putting together at the end. It is beautiful. The colors are beautiful, and she goes through on how to make her granny squares, how to finish them. It's very good. So I want you to put a comment if you order one of these kits. I want you to send me a comment that you ordered one, and which one, because I think they're amazing. Now my next idea, because I'm one of these people who I don't stop for 2 minutes, and so when I finished the Moorland, and also Lisa at work finished the Moorland, I said, gosh, wasn't it just amazing, because Yorkshire's so beautiful, and I think we need to do one for Colorado. Wouldn't it be cool if a yarn shop had a picture of Colorado, someplace in Colorado, and put together a kit and marketed that in their shop? Got together either, I don't know if they would want to order the Stylecraft yarn, but just something that's accessible to people. And make one up and call it Rocky Mountain High or something like that. That's what I'd call it, Rocky Mountain High. So what did I do? I was looking at Facebook, and I'm part of this Colorado photography group or whatever, and I saw the most beautiful picture of that someone had taken. And I thought, I'm just going to do a little mock-up. So I just put the picture up, and then I made the little striping of how I do it. Now, I'm going to put it up now. And remember, I just did this. It took me like 30 minutes to do, so if I did it, which I'm not going to, it's not my picture. I hope I don't get in trouble. I would take my own picture or get permission to use the picture, something. And I would make the stripes smaller and more gradual, and I would rearrange it. It was just really an idea and up there. So Lisa, because she's always asking me, have you done that yet? I'm like, no. But I really want someone else to do it, but maybe I'll do it. Who knows? Rocky Mountain High, that's my idea. So I'll find a picture and maybe I'll put something together, but I don't know how to market these things, and I could give it to the yarn shop. I don't need the money myself to do that. I just love the ideas, and I like to see people succeed. So that's my idea, and it's up there, Rocky Mountain High. I also want to tell you that you don't have to make big ones. Like this one my sister made, and she made the giant one. I think it made a twin-sized bed cover. I didn't want anything that big. They get too frumpy and I don't know, cumbersome. That's the word I wanted. They get too cumbersome for me. So I just really wanted to throw. She tells you to do it in multiples of however many to make it whatever size you want. So you can customize it, and they turn out beautiful. So I think that's Attic 24. I hope you enjoy it. Again, comment to me if you make one and which one you make. They are super inexpensive. I think I was looking, now depending on what your exchange rate is, but the shipping's not a lot. And I think that the most of them are around 31, 32 pounds, which would now be about $40 here, or $42. That's the yarn, that's the pattern, and then you pay the shipping. That's unreal. So go on, get one, and let me know which one you get. I do want to mention also about the UK conversion. I'm going to put a little picture up here. They do call things, they call the stitches something different. I'm going to put that up. You can also Google it. But basically, a double crochet in the UK is a single crochet here. A treble crochet, they call it in the UK, is a double crochet here. So it's just opposite. I think that and the half double crochet are really the only ones that are different, although I think probably all of them are if they involve a double or a triple crochet. So keep that in mind. I'll put that chart up, and you can make sure that once you make the correction in your head, the first few rows you're done. You know the pattern, and it doesn't matter. So just don't forget to do it, or you'll end up with a really funny blanket. Bigger, it'd be long, I guess it'd be really long. So that's Attic 24. And Lucy's from a part of England that my husband's from. My husband's from the UK, from Yorkshire as well. And Lucy is just over the hill in Keighley. My husband grew up in Mitchley near Hebden Bridge. So it is a beautiful part of the country. I know I had a couple comments from people from Yorkshire, and you are so lucky because it's stunning. The valleys are truly amazing. So, Attic 24. And I'm going to tell you what to do, because you're going to have some extras, some little bits and pieces of yarn. On some colors you'll have quite a bit. And I did something really fun with mine, but I don't want to share with you till next time, until I see if a lot of people ordered it. And I'll share that. It's pretty cool. Okay, next I think I'm going to, let's see, what should I do next? Oh, and did you hear the thunder? Oh my goodness. I might need to move in. So I think what I will do next then, I think I might go in and do my reveal for my belted sweater, because that way I can get these blankets out. If it rains, I can scoot in a little bit. I'm out from under our covered porch because we have an overhead fan, but it's still, when the cement's hot on the outside and surroundings, and it's hot out here, which was 90 degrees when I sat down at 32 Celsius, but 90 degrees, so it's pretty warm. So I had to move out a little bit so I could get a little bit more of a breeze. So I'm going to, right now, go do the big reveal. First, I will put up the picture of what it looked like after I was done. Remember, I made it oversized on purpose in the hope that I could belt it. So, and that is called Love It or Lose It. Which one should I do? You're gonna be the judge. But it was an experiment. I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. Oh my gosh, okay. So first of all, it's 90 degrees. I have the warmest sweater probably that I own on. It is, I love it. Let's see if I can back up a little bit. It is still a little bit big right here. But for the most part, this is kind of how I'd wear it, probably like a jean skirt in the winter, or jean, what is this, a shirt, a jean shirt in the winter, and open it or put it all the way closed. I don't know. Right now, I can't imagine getting any hotter than I am, but oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Honestly, I need to do a little bit more. I think I will try and do some selective felting right here. For whatever reason, it is really big. Still, I'm gonna have to take this off in front of you because I'm melting. It's so hot out here. And this sweater is gonna be so warm. Seasonal changes are strange here, and they can be difficult. Like, you don't always need a coat, but you know, you just want to take a walk, and so that's how I'm going to use it. It's definitely too casual for work, but it's not too casual for my day off, and or going to the mountains or going for a drive. And I love the color, so I'm going to love it, not lose it. So I want to tell you how I felted it. I think Barb with Woolen Works, she's told me to. So I got it wet, and I did use a little bit of fabric softener and a little bit of no rinse detergent, and I got it wet and spun dry, like a rinse cycle only, and then I put it in the dryer. Oh, no. First, I did steam block it because I wanted to make sure that all the stitches were aligned if it was going to felt together. So I didn't want any like weirdness. So that was important. I think that would be important. I realized I lined the button band so that it was even. I got it really nice, and it was really big. But I wanted to do that. So I did that, and then I put it in the dryer, and her advice was put it in the dryer and check it every 5 minutes. And I did. I checked it every 5 minutes. In fact, I took my knitting down, and I just sat in front of the dryer because I thought, I'm the type that gets going doing something else, and I'm going to forget that thing, and it's going to be this big. So that's what I did, and I'm just thrilled. I'm going camping in a couple weeks, and I'm going to be so excited to take it. I hope I can sit outside and wear it by the fire, because that's exactly what I want to do with it. So I'm thrilled. I mean, like I said, there'll be a little bit of hand felting areas that I think I could agitate so I could get it wet, like I did with my mitts, and do this, get it hot with rubber gloves. Another really cool suggestion someone had was use a plunger and a bucket, and that would be good too. The agitator and the front loader works great too. I think for mittens and hats that might work better. I just needed to really control what was happening. It was really, really big here, and it still is a little bit big. Worst case scenario, I had another suggestion from someone that said, I did have someone say, rip it out, use the yarn for something else. And you know what? I probably should have done that. But then my curiosity gets the best of me, and I'm like, no way, I'm gonna try this now. I'm driven to do it, so I'm gonna try. That was funny. And then I had someone say that she stitched it successfully, and I think that's what I might do. If I can't get that to felt here, I might just run a stitch under the arms, because it's big there. There's a lot of fabric, and I tried to decrease quickly because I knew that sleeve was big. I might try to do that and just get some of that fabric out. What have I got to lose, right? I never did tell you guys. I told you that I got it at in Rhinebeck at Harrisville Tweed, Harrisville Designs. But this is the yarn. It's Peace Fleece, 75% Navajo Rambole, and domestic fine wool, 25% mohair. It has mohair. Oh my gosh, that's the halo. You guys, that's what, I didn't even read this. I'm so out there. But here it is, if you can see that. Let me see. I gotta, there it is. That's what it is. Peace Fleece. And it's called Yellow Butterfly Worsted Weight Yellow Butterfly. I had no idea. So here's the yarn. You see no mohair in it. None. There it is. None. But on this, there's a beautiful halo. So, oh my gosh, I am so glad I did this. And my cute buttons. I just went and got buttons from Joanne because I was there getting my Liberty of London fabric. Anyway, that's another topic. I'm going to talk to you about my button stash sometime. It's pretty interesting. But I'm so excited. I hope you are too. And thank you for your comments. I'm just so excited to wear this. It's not perfect. It didn't feel perfect. But for me it is. I love it. Okay, so that is my finished object. Another finished object I have is my Liberty of London skirt. And I will put my little outfit on for you. And then I will be right back. Okay, so this is my little skirt. My little Liberty of London skirt. It turned out really cute. It was really simple. I did it, I mean, it takes less than an hour to make something like this. But I do love it, and I found a little red purse yesterday shopping with my daughter, which is so cute. I am going to wear. I did wear it to work already. I wore it with this little featherweight cardigan that I had made. It was actually my first sweater that I ever made. It's called the featherweight cardigan, and I'll put it up. The only flaw about the featherweight cardigan is it doesn't have short rows, which I couldn't have done anyway at the time. So it tends to, if you wear it like this, which in the summer it's good to wear just in a cool area, you don't need to have short rows. But I did make it also in a plucky knitter worsted weight, and it just pulls back all the time. So I've since learned how to put short rows in a pattern. Thank you, Devin Ventry. She taught me how to do that at her retreat. Or was it Mystery Mouse Yarns? Maybe Mystery Mouse Yarns was the one who talked about that. So thank you. And so now I think I could do it. But it's just, I love my skirt. Sorry I didn't stand it very long. I can't see. I need to get my eyes checked. So I hope I was in the camera. But it turned out really cute. I want to tell you what pattern I used. So I used this pattern, and I'm actually going to put a better picture up of it. But it was called New Look, and it's an easy pattern because that's how I roll now, easy on sewing. Someone asked me about my sewing journey and what I used to do sewing, or how I got started sewing. So I'll tell you that story one day. It's a pretty good one too. My life's pretty hilarious. Anyway, I did the D, and I'm going to put that up. I want to tell you that it called for a yard and an eighth. Now remember, this is $35 a yard, so which is a lot for cotton. Got to take this off. Hot. And I thought, oh, do I really need the eighth? And I didn't. So it was 54 inches wide, and I was a little bit nervous, but I had plenty. So I made the size medium, and I think you could make small, medium, large, and really close to extra large with that Liberty of London fabric and that pattern in just a yard, unless you wanted to make it really, really long. But I had over an eighth of a yard. I had almost a quarter of a yard left. Maybe not quite a quarter of a yard. So I'm going back. I'm going to do it. The only thing I might change is I didn't wash the fabric ahead of time. I've since washed it. I had to shrink a teensy bit, but I'm still okay because it was a little bit big. And I might make since I had enough to do an extra seam, I might put a seam in the back and do the slit in the back instead of on the side. Although the side's fun for summer, it's a little bit harder wear in winter, like with boots. I don't know if I'd wear this cotton in the winter anyway, but anyway, that's that. Go get your fabric. That was really fun. And like I said, I had my eyes set on a couple. I just didn't know how it would turn out. So those are my two finished. I think I just had two finished objects. But hooray! So excited about that sweater. I can't even tell you. I did want to tell you this sweater cardigan was made with the fiber company, and I texted my sister right before I was shooting this, and she doesn't remember the fabric, the yarn either. It's discontinued, but it was 680 yards. It's lace weight, and it took one skein. We bought it at the Longmont Yarn Shop. 4 years ago. She hasn't made hers yet. Same color. She hasn't made it yet. Okay, so next, let's see, what do I have next? More thunder, hooray. We love rain here. I'm so sorry about bragging about the rain. I know some people were writing how they're in a drought, and I'm so sorry. That was very braggy, but we're usually dry, so it was a celebration for me. Okay, so next I will do, let's see. Oh, next I'm going to tell you about the button trick because you waited long enough for that. This is my sister's button trick, and she learned it someplace, but I was fairly grateful. I made this sweater, and this is the, oh gosh, that's gonna haunt me. What is this? I'll have to put it up, I can't remember. It's a winter sweater. I made it with the Cascade Eco, and I love this sweater. It's a winter sweater. Let's see. Super cute. So these metal buttons, is it the Ramona sweater? Felix cardigan, that's it. Felix cardigan. But the yarn is so soft, I've washed it. But it had these big heavy metal buttons. So she taught me when I first started knitting, and I could put buttons on my cardigans that I was making to reinforce them. And you reinforce them in the back with little clear buttons like this. And these are just little buttons you get at Joann or wherever you get your buttons. And you use whatever size is appropriate. I used a smaller one because I didn't really want it to show. Let me show you what the back looks like. So I guess it does show if they're open, but not very much. You could probably even use a button the same color if you can do an exact match. Oh, I forgot to shut my phone off. There's my son. You could probably do the same color if you wanted to do the same color. So that's my trick. And you just put it on, and then you obviously, you know how to sew on a button. But that way your buttons not only stay upright, but they don't pull through your fabric. So I do that anytime I have a button that has the little, not hook, I don't know what it's called. You know what I mean. It looks like this. It's a little half circle. It's metal. Usually they're metal and they're heavy. So that's your tip. Hooray. Okay, that is that. I want to talk about my podcasters, and I'm kind of going long, so I'll try to hurry. I talked to you about the first ones that I used, how a few that I've watched. Knitty McPurly, those are the ones, obviously I talk about her a lot, but I didn't used to watch podcasts when I was knitting. I watched movies. I'm a British drama, so I have streaming Acorn TV and BritBox, and I watch all of those programs. I love them. I used to live, I think I told you, I lived in Scotland and I lived in London. So I love the culture. So I watched those, and my sister's like, why don't you watch, my sister, why don't you watch podcasts? I'm like, why would I watch someone knitting? That's the craziest thing in the whole world. Well, I started, and so I started watching Espace Tricot, and that was when it was Melissa and Lisa. And I liked to watch them because they made things that I knit. They made sweaters and scarves, and they were just fashionable. And because I work so much of my life, I need things that I can actually knit and wear to work. So that's why I liked watching them. And I got kind of addicted, and I started watching them more and more and more and more, and then you knit more, and you know how it goes. So I watched them. They also have free patterns on Ravelry, and they're really nice designs, really simple. So I was starting, and they were patterns that I could knit and actually look good in. The Paloma, I've made several things, several of their sweaters that I really, really love. So I started watching them, and then I watched a little bit of the Grocery Girls, and then I found Lynn. And Lynn is my friend from Cardiff, Wales. And her podcast is called Calon Yarns, C-A-L-O-N, Calon Yarns. And I just felt a connection to her right away. I think she started podcasting during lockdown, and they were locked down for a long time. She's an educator, I think drama maybe. But I started watching her, and like many of you said to me, there was a connection. I just felt a connection. And it's so weird because you do feel a connection to these people. And so I felt like I knew everything about her, and she inspired me to spin. My sister obviously wanted me to spin, but she kind of got the bug going again in my head. And because she bought a wheel during that time and started spinning, and you would show you what to do with them, because when you first start spinning you have one skein usually. Well, she would put that one skein in color work as color work. That was her one color work skein. So I loved that. I loved watching her. She was funny. She would go to France to see her dad. And then of April of last year, she went to see her dad, and she never did another podcast. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I told my sister, I think something's happened to Lynn, because she's not back on. But she has since been on Instagram. She's fine. She probably just got burned out, and she's doing something else. But there was never a goodbye. She never said goodbye. And so I feel like I've lost a friend in a creepy way. I know that's creepy. But I would tell my husband, I'm going to go spend some time with my friend Lynn, because I really did love her. So check her out, Calon Yarns. They're still up. You can go back and watch all of hers. She also was the first one to mention over dyeing to me. I do like to dye yarn. I like to use natural plants, if you can imagine, and some other things. I do both. But she was the first one who said, I bought this. I really didn't like the color. I've had it in my stash. And so she over dyed it, and it turned out beautiful. So I was like, oh my gosh, that was mind-boggling to me that that's something that people would do, because I have a lot I would like to do that with, and have since done that. So I love you, Lynn. I don't know where you are. Come back to me. What have I done? Anyway, I'm just kidding. But the next one that I started watching in 2020 was Knitty McPurly, and she came on the scene, and if you watch her, it's love at first sight too. She's just the dearest, sweetest, happiest, most joyful, kindest, beautiful, talented person. I really do. I've met her. I'll put a picture up of us. She's just dear. I mean, there's no other words for her. Her breast cancer journey we went through with her. At the same time, I had started my breast cancer journey, and she was very supportive. Made me not think twice about it and just get through it. And so I'm grateful to her in so many ways. Both Deb and I, we just love her. So check her out. She's a dyer. She has really cool things in her shop. She's a designer. She's a mom. She's just fantastic. Do you think I like her? I do. I like her a lot. In fact, I was just putting this on right before because it's so dry. And this is her little, she makes this balm. Oh, is it not going to go on? I don't know how to do this, guys. There you go. She makes this yummy balm, and she comes out with one in the spring and one in the fall. That I think was last fall. It's the chai. It's super good. So check her out. I love her. And she's the one who did the faucet, and she's so good with you altering it to how it is for you. She doesn't know how to be offended. She's great. The next one that I watch is a friend to knit with, and Leslie is this beautiful woman who has tons and tons of style. She makes classic sweaters, which I really like, out of classic yarn too. Just the most basic, beautiful V-necks and crews. And she's designed a shrug called the Friend to Friend Shrug. She made a baby blanket that was the pattern of her mom's, and she actually wrote it down in a proper pattern. It's called the butterfly blanket, which I bought the yarn for that. She's super cool and really talented and so stylish. And I think that's kind of the podcaster that I like, is someone who has designs that I can actually wear, that I can wear to work, and it's not just all casual because I have to, or there's no point in me making something. And she does make fun things, striped things. She makes mitts. She's cool because when she designs a pattern, usually she'll put it out for free for like a couple weeks, and then she charges for them. which I think is nice. And Knitty McPurly does the same thing. She has a lot of free patterns on her site. But one of the most beautiful things I think about Leslie, a friend to knit with, is that she is not a yarn snob. I love that about people. Knitting is something that needs to be available for everyone. We have automatic sprinklers. I know in some parts of the world, like when I lived in the UK, automatic sprinklers were kind of not really a thing because you have a lot of rain. We have automatic sprinklers, so ours just went on in the over there. Anyway, so back to Leslie. She's so she like her shrug to friend shrug. She knit and promoted with Joanne brand. She made her butterfly blanket with also Joanne brand. She knits with Patton's wool. So I love that about her, because her things are beautiful. You do not have to spend a lot of money on yarn to make beautiful things and be like her. So my hat's off to her, and I love that in people that realize we're all just people. You don't have to be a yarn snob or have just perfect yarn or perfect this. Just make beautiful things with any yarn that you think is beautiful and that you can afford. So the next ones that I started watching were the Knitters League. Okay, my camera went off, and you won't believe why it went off. It went off because the error said camera internally too hot. It's too hot out here. Actually, it's gotten a little bit cooler because the sun is still behind a cloud. Hooray. I'm not sure if we'll get rain. It's dry enough that it's probably going to evaporate before it hits. So anyway, I'm going to start over with the Knitters League. I was in mid-sentence with them, so I'm just going to start over. The Knitters League, I love the Knitters League. They're 4 women, 4 beautiful women that live in Connecticut, and they, one's an educator. I think 2 of them are educated, Julie and Lori. Elisa is a graphic artist, and Lori and Elisa are cousins. And then Sophia is an attorney. So they get together. I'm not sure how they met, but they get together and knit together and banter and share projects and share their trips and what they like and what kind of lip gloss they like, all kinds of things. But they were super cool. We got to meet them at Rhinebeck. I'll show a picture. It is without Lori. Unfortunately, she went to get something to eat. When you find these podcasters, you just got to grab them. They all, for the last several years, they have the same yarn sweaters. So they pick a color, and they all knit a different sweater with the same yarn. So it's really neat. That was probably when I first started watching them. They made the most beautiful green. I don't know what color of green is it. It was Kelly green with a little bit of yellow, and it was beautiful. And that's when I first started watching them. They were just starting their sweaters for Rhinebeck, and I didn't probably know what Rhinebeck was at the time, but now I do. And we got to go and meet them. So we didn't meet Lori the first day, but we did run into them in a hall the next day and chatted with them. And I'm telling you, they are people that you'd have for dinner. I mean, they are knitting friends. They are just delightful people. And so we stood and talked to them. Lori's son was interested in going to school in Colorado, actually at the same school that my son is attending, and he is going to go there. So I said, Parents' Weekend, we have to kind of meet up. And so we're going to try. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, it's pandemonium for sure at Parents' Weekend every time. So we're going to try and meet up and just get a picture. But if it happens, wonderful. It doesn't, that's okay. He's going to be there for 4 years. So that'll be great. So I like the Knitters League. Check them out. They podcast about once a month or so. I do like Knitting with Kim and Jonna. If you've ever watched them, we got to meet them too. We're like stalkers. I mean, there's something at Rhinebeck called Podcast Hill, where the podcasters go, and you get to meet them and take a picture. And yeah, we stalked people. We didn't stalk them; they were there, and we got our picture taken with them. So they were really sweet too. Kim and let's see, Jonna. Yeah, Jonna's actually really petite, and so is Kim. Not that they looked big on their videos, but they're little people. So that was kind of neat. They are very, very talented. They podcast a lot. They live in New York. I like to watch the Knitty Stew. And the Knitty Stew is unique because she's a stewardess in Canada. And she podcasts from her hotel room, wherever she is. She podcasts if she's having a layover, which typically stewardesses do. But I've gotten to see parts of Canada that I've really enjoyed because on her days off or her layover times, I'm not really sure how that works, but I think they sometimes have to do so many hours grounded. And so she goes around the town or the area and tells us a little bit about where she is and any yarn shops that are there she visits. She's really cool. She's so sweet. So love her too, and kind of a unique situation. Then there is Little Big Knits, and her name's Selma. She's also Canadian, and I just like her voice. She's very calm. I'm not calm, so it's great. Check her out. There is a skirt of hers that I want to make. I don't know that she writes a lot of patterns, but she talked about a skirt a couple years ago. I've always wanted to knit a skirt, but my size goes up and down. I think, how do you knit something when you're never the same size 1 month from the next? But I think I can do it. This one's a little bit short. I'll put a picture up, but I can make it longer. I need it to my knee, so I would do that. She's really sweet. We do make some of the same things, the ranunculus and some other things. She tends to make lacier things than what I make, but I just like listening to her voice, and she's a cat lover, so what's not to like, right? And then I watch the Creabea, and that's Rebecca Clow. And I watch her because she's from Scotland, and I'm in love with Scotland. I love Scotland. So if I can hear someone's Scottish accent, I'm in. But I also like her because she's very talented. I've watched her from the beginning, and she's really grown as a podcaster and as a knitwear designer. She's cool, so I like her too. And that was actually the Tulsta that you guys are all making, because people told me. I think the world's making the Tulsta. So she designed that, and I think she's very generous that she designed it in a DK, or is it worsted? What's the original one in? The original one might be worsted. I don't know. Might be DK. But she also made a fingering weight. That's the one I'm making. So, and it was just free. She updated it. People said they wanted it, and it's just included. So if you go in there and buy it, you get all of it. Plus all the modifications. People have done all kinds of different patterns. And, oh, my little Dolce kitty wants over here. He is my boy. So I'm going to have to pick him up because he's very old. Say hello, Dolce. This is the oldest, sweetest boy. He's our only male kitty. We've only had him for a year and a half. He was a street cat, and my sister had fed him for 14 years and couldn't bring him inside, and he was just too old and sick. And I said, let me have him. And we brought him back to health, and he's just a love. So where was I? I don't even know. The Creabea. Yeah, so the modifications. Yes, so there are all kinds of modifications. It's worth buying that pattern because some people are doing stripes, some people are doing eyelets, some people are doing a pico top. Why can't I ever think of that collar? So it's worth buying. I think it's a really cool pattern, and she is too. She's really neat. And I watch a lot of other ones, which I'll put up, the Pandemic Knitter and 3-Ply and Wiesel Knits, and I watch some spinning ones, but I won't go into those now. We'll have a little bit more of a spinning conversation. I've had a lot of interest in spinning. I haven't gotten a lot done. It's only been 2 weeks since I podcasted last time, but I do have a business trip that probably by the time you see this, I will have to be there and back. But I couldn't see another time to podcast for another 2 weeks, and I thought that might be too long. So I'm doing this now because I did have those fun things done. I think that's all the podcasts. I do want to go through a couple comments that were hilarious, so I'm going to do that. So it's called Cat Chat. I wanted to say I was very curious about people and where they came from. So my top states my husband literally we went through all the comments and did chicken marks. So California and Colorado are my top commenting states, not necessarily my watching states. And it could be because I'm from Colorado. But the Carolinas were big knitters. I have to say I'm a little disappointed. I do not have a knitter, I didn't have anyone comment from Wyoming. It's just north of me. I don't know where they are. Where are you, Wyoming? I know you knit. I didn't have one from Nevada or Nebraska. I didn't have one from Vermont, and that's it. Just 5 states. Other than that, I had a comment from every state, and I was so surprised. The countries, UK and Germany tied. No, UK and Canada tied, and Germany was right there next to it, and Australia. They were all kind of right there. But I had comments from, let's see, Finland, China, Spain, Brazil, Greece, Tasmania, which I know is Australia, but that's pretty cool. And Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, 6 from South Africa. Hello, 6 from South Africa. I can't believe it. Denmark. It's neat because I had someone comment from Norway, but inside the Arctic Circle. And I'm telling you what, you have a reason to knit if you live inside the Arctic Circle. So good for you, and you have great yarns. I had one podcaster tell me that when I told her she was Norwegian, I said, I want to go to Norway for my 25th anniversary next year. And she said she'd help arrange some trips and visits to yarn shops. That's a knitting friend. We are people. So might take her up on that. And people inviting me to knit. A lady from Colorado Springs, if I come down that way, she'll take me to the yarn shop and knit with me. I was thinking it'd be kind of fun, because our yarn shops are so cool, to have a Colorado knit day if one of them would let me have one. I don't know if anyone would come. But my sister knits has an amazing garden with chickens and all kinds of things. And it'd be kind of fun to bring some drinks and have a nice time. I think of these things. Anyway, yes. Oh, where else? Yeah, South Africa. Anyway, yes, there were a lot all over the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was so cool to see this. Oh, Slovenia. What? Slovenia. But here's the funny thing is Texas, Phoenix, lots in Arizona, Southern California, Arkansas, Alabama, Florida, a lot in Florida. Oh my gosh, what are you guys knitting? It is so hot. It's so hot. What? I don't know what you're knitting. Probably shawls for the evening. But anyway, tell me what you knit, because I can't imagine. I'm hot here. Whew, don't know what you're knitting down there. The other comments I had that were funny. Oh my gosh, I have to pause and go get them because I left them on the printer. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I'm talking about these comments around the dinner table, and my kids said they're going to get on and comment. This is what they would say. They each took turns. Please don't like and subscribe. Our mom is neglectful to her children. She doesn't cook or feed us anymore. She just knits. PSA, public service announcement. If anyone in your family is suffering from a knitting addiction, please call this number for help. Please help us. No food, no clothes. All our money goes for yarn. That was my family. That's what they wanted to. Unwind from the inside or the outside. It was still a mixed bag. And I couldn't find the comment of the lady that said, she explained why you couldn't. You're supposed to knit or unwind from the outside. And it has to do with the twist and how they twist the yarn, how they ply it. And I will find that. I went through the comments 3 times. I couldn't find it again. So I will find it. But there are some that pull from the inside and some that pull from the outside. I'm going to start pulling more from the outside. My problem is with the Attic 24 ones, you kind of have to pull from the inside. Otherwise, I don't know, in that cute little basket, how they'd fit. Anyway, and the felting tips were great. I did have one that was cute from Green Stick Cottage. Your channel name caught my eye in the sidebar because I'm currently reading a cozy mystery series by Tracy Dew called Knitty Kitties. Yay! It's set in New Zealand, and the main character inherited a yarn shop called Unraveled, as well as her Nana's 2 cats, Knit and Purl. The author sure knows about living with cats, and the books are quite amusing. You're doing a great job on your own, and so enjoyed seeing all your projects. I'm a catty corner I'm catty corner from you in Arizona. So anyway, so cute. Yay, we got to check out that book called Knitty Kitties. And someone, Jana48, said, enjoyed your podcast very much. I know about the fabric from Liberty of London. When I go to London, I have to go to Liberty and buy a small piece of fabric as a reminder of my trip, watching from Northeast Alabama, and I knit for myself and my husband. That's a great idea. My sister and I get a skein of yarn from every city we go to. Most cities have colors. Like when we went to Quebec City, theirs is like this royal blue. And so you want to remember where you were. I haven't made anything with it. So I'm not really remembering Quebec City yet, but I will one day. Mrs. Carita Fuller, 944, she put, watched and subscribed from Montgomery, Alabama. Loved the vlog, and Colorado is beautiful. Keep the outdoor content so nice. Looking forward to watching regarding the yarn pull. I usually pull from the center, but it depends on the yarn and whether I'm in the mood, where I just want to cast on immediately or I don't want to hunt for the center strand. Digging through a tiny fine mohair cake in the center strand is not happening. I don't like my yarn rolling all over the place since I don't use a yarn bowl, which is why I don't pull from the outside. I think the yarn butlers for cakes are pretty though. That's cool. And here's a neat one. This is from Laura from Kentucky. And her story is, she came in my store last summer and she's like, do you remember me? And I'm like, of course I remember you, because I was walking in one day from lunch and I saw the most beautiful girl. I mean, she looked like a model. And I recognized the anchor tee, and it was just beautifully made. And I'm like, oh, I love your sweater. And she said, thank you. Well, later on, she brought her mom in, and that's Laura. And so we started talking about that and how I'd recognized the sweater. And we started talking about all the podcasts we like. So there she is again. What a small world it is. I did want to say, A. Foster from Texas, your comment went to my caution or some place in my comments, and I saw it for a brief moment, and then it went away. And I'm so sorry, because I don't know why it did that. So I didn't even get to read it. So it's A. Foster from Texas. I just want to say you're probably the only one that I didn't reply to, because I have tried to reply to every single one. So thank you very much, you guys. It's so much fun. I also did get comments. How often will I podcast? I'm going to try once a month. My hair. Someone said my hair's cute. And I just want to say, don't get used to it. It's never the same twice. Sometimes it's dark. Sometimes it's light. Sometimes it's short. Sometimes it's long. It's just how I am. I do my own hair most of the time. I do go for a proper haircut a couple times a year, and it just grows out so fast, so I do color my roots, but then towards the end of that time, it's all blonde like this. So it's just who I am. Sometimes I put color on and I go down on my rowing machine. I've always done that because I don't have a lot of time to just sit for 2.5 hours at the hairdresser. Hairdressers are worthy. Trust me, they're worthy and worth every penny. I just don't have the time, or I won't give the time to myself to do that. So I will put color in, and then I'll go work out downstairs, or I'll vacuum, or I'll clean, or I'll do something, put my laundry, I'll do something. So thank you that you like my hair. Stay tuned. You never know what it'll look like next month. I hope you all have watched The Shining. I want to go watch it again since I talked about it. How much do I sew, and how did I start sewing? I'll tell you about that in an upcoming episode. And my sister, people want my sister to join. I don't know that she ever will. She might, you never know. Might be a surprise. But thanks for commenting that you'd like her. I do want to talk a minute about, let's see. Oh, and the stories. The stories that you guys all wrote in about, that was something. I feel like I know you guys. People really told me a lot about themselves and their family and their husband and their cats. And I feel like we're all friends, and it's exactly how I wanted it to be, that we're just sitting talking about knitting. My faucette. I wanted to tell you about my faucette. People ask what changes I did and what size I made. I made the size 3. I went up one size, which Devin said to do because it's a tight fitting crop. I made it a little longer. I made it a rolled collar, which is my favorite because I don't like things on my neck. And my sister taught me to do that. And you go down a needle size. You cast on loosely the same number of stitches they require, that the pattern calls for, and then you knit the stitches As if it has 5 stitches in the collar, you knit 5, and then you go to the designated size. And then when you take it off, when you're done, it rolls. I also lengthened the sleeves, staying in the pattern that was on the top, and I eliminated the bobbles, which Devin told me to do. She taught me how to do that. I had never made it because I don't like bobbles. I'm not a bobbler. So I eliminated the bobbles, and you just knit the stitch. I didn't know that's all you did. So I will do more patterns with bobbles that I can eliminate. So that's it, the shawl pattern. Thank you for your comments on the shawl. I had a couple people ask for the pattern. I'm going to try and insert, it was a free pattern. I found it. I had it just typed up. I think it was a free pattern from the yarn shop that I got it from. But basically you knit half of your yarn. If you want to change colors, change the colors. It's garter stitch, increasing and then decreasing, and then you change colors or knit the rest of your yarn. If you want to email me at theknittycats@gmail.com, I'm happy to send you the pattern. I did that for a couple people. I truly just typed it out and put a couple pictures on. I think the yarn shop just gave it to me with the yarn. So I don't know how this works on YouTube, if I can put things up. I don't want to get in any trouble. So if you want to email me, I'm happy to just send it to you. Okay, next, and let's see. Oh, I wanted to tell you what I have, 2 little things that I'm going to work on next. I have a baby sweater. My cousin's daughter is having a baby, and she wanted a sweater from my sister and I, which is weird because usually you knit something for someone and they don't want it. So it's pretty flattering that she wants it. So I'm going to make this little like kimono sweater, and I'll put that up now. And I first was convinced that you shouldn't knit a baby sweater in wool or cotton because they throw up. So I went in search of an acrylic, and I found this, and I just got this at Michael's. I think it's really cute, and it's super soft, and I love the color. But I think cotton would be better. So I did go to Joann, and then I bought this. And it is actually really nice Pima cotton, but it seemed a little bit heavy. And then I did the smart thing and went to my local yarn store, and I went to Loopy U and bought this Ultra Pima cotton. And it's the right weight, it's the right everything, it's so soft. It's the one they suggest that you make for knitted knockers. And I got this blush. It's so pretty, and I think it's gonna be beautiful. So yay, that's my next cast on, and I need to get it done because her shower's in 2 weeks. And I need to get it done for that. The next thing I did was something a little bit crazy. And it'll make more sense to you when I tell you my sewing story, how I started sewing and why I started sewing and why I kept sewing. So I went in a store and I saw this in the clearance rack, and I really was attracted to it because of the pattern. It's this cotton that's really pretty. It looks kind of like Liberty of London. It's not as nice feeling, but it's pretty. And I thought, well, that's cute. Well, then I got it out. And it looks, let me see, let me move back. It looks kind of like a cake topper. It's the sleeves though. The body is actually really flattering, and it has a slit. So I thought, how bad can it be? It was so inexpensive. I think I paid $7 for it. And you can't buy the fabric for that. So I tried it on. I had it all ironed and put it on and was going to wear it to work. Oh my gosh, those sleeves are so bad. So that's going to be my project tomorrow. I'm going to take the sleeves apart or do something with them because I really like the fabric and I really like the body of it. I'm going to remake it. Just the sleeves. So we'll see how that goes because it'd be cute even with my little Koran sweater that I made last time. It has that really light yellow in it. So we'll see. I will wear that maybe the next podcast. I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to take them all the way off or just take them in and take all that off. But you have to have vision and be creative, and that's what I'm doing. So I think that's it, you guys. I just have my Tolsta, which I am hoping to finish. I'm working on the body. I hope it's not too small. It looks a little bit small, but I keep trying it on. It looks okay. So I'm going to work on that, and I hope you guys are enjoying your Tolsta sweaters. Thank you for joining me again. I will put some pictures of flowers that I have seen along my walks. I'm kind of in a roses phase. I don't know why. I've always liked roses. I only have one rose bush. Actually, I have some small bush rose bushes, 3, but then I only have one proper rose bush. And the roses I saw on my walk last week, one of my walks, they're amazing. So I'm going to put those up, and a little tour of my garden. And I will see you next time. I'll have a camping trip in between here, so maybe I'll shoot some footage of my camping trip. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate it. I had so much fun. I'm having fun. I'm with my knitting friends from all over the world. You're my people. Until next time.